Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. Say good morning, Charlie. I've just brought her out of her cage. She's been on her own all morning. I slept late. I'm really struggling. That TENS machine they suggested I try, I've been using it since Friday evening. So what's that? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, really only 4 nights. It's made me worse. I swear to God, it has made me worse. I was up 6 times last night, and I don't know where the volume of urine output is even coming from, because I didn't drink a lot yesterday. So I woke up this morning, I've still got it, with a bit of a smashing headache. And feeling wrung out, which will be dehydration. And I know it's dehydration because I peed so much. Anyway, I don't want to go on about my health issues and sound like a victim, but it's getting serious, people. Nothing's working. The solifenacin isn't working. The TENS machine, well, I guess it's too early to tell if it's making it worse, but I think it's made it worse, judging on symptomology. Oh, Charlie. So I'm in a bit of a state, people, but you know what? I carry on making my videos because I'm still alive, and I'm having moments where I kind of spiral into kind of this deep kind of fear. I've just watched a video this just now on YouTube, Naomi Wolf talking about our post-COVIDian society, and that it's not human anymore. And I said that from the beginning. No human would sterilise or poison our babies and children. No sentient human would ever orchestrate the death of even our very, very young. It's astonishing. So that, on top of me feeling already a bit vulnerable and ill, has made me feel a little bit triggered and spirally, people. I'm just spiraling, and I go through this life alone, and also that's very fragile making, and all my hopes and dreams of true loving partners and comfort and ease are ridiculous, given what I know about our world right now, what I always knew, even as a child. This was kind of my backhanded gift from the gods, right? Showing me that real evil is present in my life, even from the age of, well, really from birth, but they really industrialised it from the time I was 6 years old. Let's just put it delicately. So Naomi Wolf, Queen, a fellow Jewish woman, not afraid to stand in her own light and integrity and speak out. And I greatly respect and admire you, and I wish there were more like you. We need you, those of us left straggling and struggling. We need you. We need you to remind fellow earthlings that this is a spiritual war, and there is only one way in and one way out. Same way we came in, kicking and screaming, am I right? But to keep your souls intact, to hold true to your humanness, no matter what, no matter who. And I'm kind of laughing in a way. Maybe I should go out and just indulge in bacchanalian type sex orgies or something. I would never do that. I'm laughing about that, people. But just to cleave to the life force again, just to be a real woman again, and have the comfort of a man's arms around me, who is maybe for the first and last time in my life a true lover, truly loving and protective and caring. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Instead of struggling in this fucking post-apocalyptic nightmare dystopia alone all the time. But being alone is kind of, in a way, my saving grace and my superpower, because I'm not being herd mentality, mass formationed by idiots like Joe Kelly, who came to my gate and said, "Oh, I did it to save the nurses, and we did it for this reason. Oh, by the way, I make good money. Oh, don't you live in Housing Commission and Buranda?" Vague threats. Like, this is the kind of animal that we have voted for, and that we're lining their pockets, by the way. And yes, anyone that sponsored or enforced or endorsed that programming is an animal. No, actually, it's not even an animal. It's just demonic. Even animals don't do that to each other, do they, Charlie? No. We have our fights, Mama T, but we get it all out and over and done with, one-on-one, mano a mano. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I just witnessed some little Indian minor birds picking on a crow. You do travel in groups, Charlie. But anyway, I'm just in a dark place this morning, and part of it's because I don't feel well and I have a headache, and it's getting cool now, getting cold, and the world will never be the same ever again, I guess. We've all been tainted in one way or other by this, and it's quite chilling. Anyway, I'll move on to readings of even date, 28th of May 2024, and it's titled Giants, Hobbits and Jokers. And I shared a meme as the photo for today's journal entries. I belong to no one. I am owned by no one. I answer to no one. If I give you my time, it's a privilege, not an obligation. I know myself, so I know my worth. And that was kind of a catalyzing, catalyst in my life, because 2019, I had just come out of really awakening to the fact that I'd given a lot of energy and a lot of time to false people in my dance scene and former lovers that were just fucking monstrous. So I needed to reclaim my sovereignty, and this was very inspiring. And I kind of love the painting or picture that came with it. With an ankh, which represents the Egyptian symbol of freedom, and the eye of Horus, which is protection and wisdom, but look how fabulous it is. So I needed that pep talk at the time, 2019, and am I right? And I still need that pep talk. And it helped me actually greatly when the COVID insanity began, and they were telling us that we had to protect each other by poisoning ourselves. Here, have a donut, have a football ticket, let's have a lottery to see who can win their own fucking death. It's insane, people, what's been done to us as a population across the entire globe. It's the most greatest insanity. But all we can do is keep living, keep loving our true friends, family, partners if you have them, our pets, our earth, and keep some kind of relationship going with the supernatural God, or however you perceive that energy to be, and keep fighting for what is worth living for, which is love and truth and honour and integrity and courage in the face of great evil. And that's all we've got left, my babies, my fellow earthlings, my beloved ones. It's quite astonishing. And the way my bladder's going, well, has been going for years, but has really sped up even more now. I don't perceive that I'll be around much longer. I know I get like that. I've been like that for 59 years, but it's not looking good, people. It really isn't. Waking up fucking dehydrated. So, anyway, the sun's come out. Look how beautiful it is. And it's a beautiful day in spite of my struggles, and we've all been ravaged by time and by malfeasances, all of us across the globe, and not just with the COVID epoch, but some of us were poisoned way back in various nefarious ways. Agent Orange is one that comes to mind. DDT, glyphosate, all of it. It's been a targeted, multi-pronged attack on humanity for decades. No, Charlie, you can't be climbing the curtain. No, I don't want you up there. No, because bad things happen when you're up there. Yes, and it all ends up in my curtains. Anyway, I carry on. 28th of May, 2023, another sunny day. I woke up at 10:40 a.m. The dancing and my asthma has run me ragged, but build myself up I must. In the gods I trust. The dancing will continue as long as I can move. Trigger warning, vulgar language and Bodicean war cries. Dear spies, what do you want from me? I'm well aware that you trawl through my YouTube videos and Instagram, laughing out loud, like silent seeping vermin, terrified of the Tanya and her truth. It often shows me I've had at least one view before it's even uploaded. Odd, but a tad funny. You are watching me, and I'm sitting back, fully cognizant of your venal, petty, ignoble malevolence since 23 years ago. Try 24 years ago now. The Tanya never forgets both the kindnesses, a loan you once made to me so I could pay my rego after my ex-husband refused to assist my children in going to school, or the evils you perpetrated out of envy and spite because we had had the misfortune or bad karma to share the same putrid but self-proclaimed magnificent penis. I mean, Jesus, you couldn't write home to mother about it, could you? It's just beyond bizarre. But anyway, I carry on. Well, that one is dead. He holds no power over me, but yes, he still owes me greatly, the cunt. He enabled my enemies to rob me of the equivalent of 4 houses plus valuable land in Waiheke Island, New Zealand. Although, to be fair, my mother divested me of that land long before he came into my life. So can't technically blame him for that part, but the rest is the most profound demonic evil. But you materialist, greedy, corrupt whoremongers and your caravan of cockeyed corpse brides and concubines. I love that. Cockeyed corpse bride. They really were cockeyed too. Cockstruck is what they really were. Have no idea whom I am, do you? There are things far more precious than diamond merchants' lovers or real estate thieves. It's a simple matter of soul, neshama, you lack. You sought to destroy me back then, utterly, but it was you who ended up in the psych unit. I am stronger than any of you ever gave me credit for. You lacked the class, the couth, the compassion, or the grace. You lacked the heart, Charlie. Yes, my darling. And now, like a coup de grace, the truth went out decades ago, and I, the Tanya, have kept my sanity, my sanguinity, and my courage. Where were you, dirty, low-level entity motherfuckers, when I needed you? Too busy aligning with my enemies and mocking, deriding, and yes, slandering me. Well, well, well. Memory, like the dusty corners of my mind, remains as fresh as the hatchet job you did on me. I know exactly whom you are, and I await, as always, the retributions, plural. One by one they come and go like waves on a beach, ebbing and flowing with your effluent. Not even a mikveh could cleanse that. I suggest, if you want to know something about me, you ask me yourself. But what can one expect from cowardly curs? No thing. I made this video 3 weeks ago. In it I make particular mention of my sore jaw, which has had cysts in it before. Yesterday, I received a text from Metro North outsourcing me with a voucher to see a private dentist. After I made particular mention of genocide and the malfeasant medical and or dental neglect I have been experiencing since COVID in 2019, but let's be real here, for decades prior. So no, I am not paranoid. There are no coincidences, and I really am spied on. In that instance, it was kind of benevolent that the algorithms referred me to Metro North and I got treatment. So not all spying is necessarily malfeasant, but it's still kind of weird and a bit of a concern. Anyway, possibly still by members of the Queensland Jewish Board of Deputies also. Weird, but interesting, to say the least. Nothing to see here, boys, since you actively enabled the eradication of my wealth and did nothing to uphold my honour after 3 attacks on my life by Israeli and Jewish men. All you can do is watch and leer on my social media platforms like fucking perverted ghouls. I have not forgotten. I will never, ever forgive, not until you return to me to the power of 10 what you took from me because you were envious of my strength, my life force, and my freedom. Also, no doubt, my innate goodness. On the Gilgulim, I will have my rectification. Hashem counts a woman's tears. And in the cosmic tree of life, I wept entire new universes into creation over the most low-life, malfeasant scum, not worth a drop of my primal juices, my neshama, my joie de vivre. The Tanya has spoken. She has grown older, wiser, even more isolated by often her own choice, as she prefers safety after dealing with the demonic, repressive, concussive, suffocating likes of my former lovers and former husband. The Tanya has become. Don't like me? Don't wish me well or happy or prosperous or loved? Then have the decency to leave my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube pages. I have nothing to offer you but a mirror of your own desolation and desecration you tried to soil me with, you cunts. End of transmission. Last night I was informed that Seagal has been banned from the Treasury Casino. So that says last Friday I was informed. Some verkachte story that she stole a $50 chip off the floor. I want her reinstated, Treasury Casino. There is no honour amongst thieves. How much of my gold jewellery was stolen by pickpockets? One snake ring slipped off my fingers, another beautiful old brooch taken off my jacket. Is it any wonder that I guard my bag and my friends' bags with an eagle eye and the hot fury of a dragon on a horde after 12 years of your malfeasance? Yes, the place got cleaned up, less pickpocketing, and the women leave their bags unattended now, which I would never personally do, knowing what's gone on in that space for well over a decade. But oh well. But to accuse my friend Seagal of theft, what the actual fuck? Yes, I am aware she has serious mental health issues, but I have never known her to be a thief. So some malfeasant, vicious, bloodless cur banning her has other agendas. Bring her back. You owe her an apology. And a few months later, on the 5th of August, I was basically harassed and threatened out of that space by the tech guy and the security guards. So they definitely had another agenda. I was told I wasn't 5-star enough for the new venue, so basically wasn't welcome there anymore. And they didn't like me having my spot where I had actually danced there for 12 years. But suddenly it was an issue. No accidents in the universe, people. This is our Brisbane Treasury Casino under the auspices of our government, driving the older people and the not so beautiful people out of the scene, hoping we'll crawl away and die. Well, Mama T will dance until she dies, or God forbid my legs no longer hold me up anymore. You will never, ever get rid of me. Ever. I might not be young and frivolous and naive and stupid enough to go along with your fascist setting up a schizophrenic woman as a thief, knowing that she probably wouldn't remember what was real. They would have picked a night when she was, out of her mind, by the way. Wickedness beyond belief. A woman who'd been a loyal customer for over 20 years. I added an attachment from 19th of December 2020, which was a story I wrote about. I can't remember why I wanted to add that in. Probably to demonstrate that I had a friendship with Seagal before, and there's no mention of Seagal. Why did I add that in? There must have been a reason. Ah, yes. This is to elucidate how it is that I'm so protective and loving towards Seagal in that space, which is an anomaly given we shared the same lover at one time, which was awful and upsetting. But I never held it against her because that man was manipulative and a psychopath, by the way. And I knew she was vulnerable because she was in love with him, would have gone along with anything he did, even having to share him with me and countless other women, no doubt, because he was that much of a satyr. But anyway, I added this in probably because I'm not completely crazy, people. Probably as a point of reference for a bit of background knowledge. So I'll read it out to you because I stand in my own truth and my own blood and my own integrity, no matter what, no matter who. Funny thing from last night. In the queue where I met the two friendly, lovely men. This was back in 2020. Well, one of them was of my vintage. His name was Steve. For a joke, I asked him if he came from Inala, as a few years ago, some spirit told me that I would meet a man named Steve from Inala, and I just thought it was nonsense. Anyway, Steve starts laughing and says, I was raised in Inala, but I live on the north side. I grinned inanely and uncomfortably. The prophecies are coming true in recent weeks. Things I thought were just mischievous, lying spirits. And anyway, I am still in love with Dave. This was back in 2020. I'm glad I snapped out of that, people. Oh, dear goddess. And have decided since I can't be with him because of his long-suffering bullshit games, that I actively choose to remain alone for the rest of my life, as I'm sick to my back teeth of game players, liars, cheaters, traitors, stranglers, rapists, and men so terrified of my power that they quiver and quake in my presence like tortured schoolboys, which horrifically I think they very well may have been in that evil English public school system. But Steve's young friend, who used to be his apprentice in carpentry, was an absolute delight. He took one look at me and invited me to drink with him. I thought that was a bit forward and impulsive, but he started calling me Mum as we looked so alike, and it was rather hilarious. I said, oh, how nice. I finally get a son who is happy to be seen with me in public. And this one I did not have to prepare earlier with the ignominy of traumatic childbirth, nappies, feeding, etc. He was such a lovely young man that I felt it completely disarming. He was terrified of one of the regular women there who actually gets quite menacing and loves to threaten the men her own trauma turned into sociopathology. So he kept safe with me, his newly discovered mum. We had a lovely time. I am relieved that Steve from Inala was no ardent, pesky, she's biting me quite hard, stalkerish lover, and just a good bloke out for a healthy night out on the booze and danced and had a convivial time without agendas. Decent. So the spirits are showing me there are good men out in the world who are not out to destroy me, at least not immediately. My psychiatrist was lovely yesterday too. I felt seen, heard, and just unconditionally loved yesterday. So that was a balm to my broken Christmas, Hanukkah, summer solstice spirit. Also, it was a timely reminder that the spirits have not lied to me, but their human construct of time was off by about 4 years, ho-hum, and the men they mentioned have both been met in recent weeks. Chris of the glitter on the dance floor seduction line, ha ha, and now the long joked about with consternation, Stephen from Inala. My ex-friend Jenny would crack a rib if she was there last night. We would have both fallen on the floor laughing. That's how odd and bizarre and ridiculous that Stephen from Inala character that was prophesied 4 years prior really is. My life is running in concentric circles. The people that were meant to be in my life still are, and the ones that were meant to blip on my radar and slide on by have come, been witnessed by me, and slid into the next groove. And my crazy, nonsensical, absurdist love for the one I want remains true and stolid, even if interminably unrequited. Glad I'm over that. I think it actually took my dog's death for me to finally snap out of all of that, realising how little respect and care any of those bastards actually had for me. It was beyond awful, really beyond awful. But anyway, I knew it before then. I don't know what was wrong with me that I even kept trying, quite frankly. I guess bathos and loneliness and, wanting to be loved against the odds. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Charlie. Charlie loves Mama though, don't you, Charlie? Yes. Yes, you are a good girl. Your mummy's a good girl. Mummy's little baby. I feel wonderful anyway. The Tanya has grown into her next version, and the spirits are showing me the time for me is here, now. But alas, they forgot to send that memo to Dave. Or did they? And I must embrace my aloneness and my true heart and mana. And yes, my witchy side, as that has just been proven to be worthy, honourable and accurate, even if slightly off base and fickle. The tickle from the multiverses was enchanting and better than the cold, hard slap of destruction she usually anoints me with. There is humour and enchantment at play. I do believe they, the unseen ones, are preparing me for my next mission in life. A mother, Mama T, and a beloved partner to a man worthy of my heart and valour. I must gird my loins with strength, as nothing destabilises me more than yet another false friend, or worse, lover. Well, I still haven't taken a lover yet. Seagal and I had a long and lucid chat about our shared former lover, Marco. Have to laugh about that one to this day, really. That was bizarre and insane too. She said she really liked him. I agreed. I said he was passionate and vivacious and exciting, but I had to throw him back into the sea of players, as he has a partner and is incapable of ever being faithful. But he was so much fun, and I miss our wild, carefree, erotic dancing. I reminded her, if he ever shows up again, that I said, hi, but get him to the Napoli, and that I used to drive him completely crazy by declaring that I was in love with the Englishman, which remains quite true, but endlessly, achingly hopeless too. Then she and I laughed and laughed at our own bathos and misery, but yet somehow we are still powerful and quintessentially beautiful, and the gods, Hashem in all manifestations, really do have our backs. Formidable. Oh, and importantly, crazy sociopathic woman kept coming over to sit with me during the night, fascinated. I patted her back and told her she was safe with me. I said, go be happy no matter what. It is the best revenge on our enemies. Never let the bastards grind us down. But in true vicious fashion, she turned to me with dead eyes steeped in alcoholic blackout, soul-ridden by her own darkness, and said, I don't need your protection or anything from you. I refrained from rolling my eyes, remained solid in my core, thought to myself, another fucking Lana, dripping with evil intent. Hold my ground. So calmly, but in a deeply threatening voice, I replied, oh, that is so good, so refreshing to hear. A relief, actually. I actually fucking hate it when anyone is desperately in need of me. It's such a drag. She stood up and lurched across the bar to continue with her joyous self-expression of malevolently unhinging the rest of the people there. I smirked. Well played, Tanya. Never let the bastards grind me down. My new friend and son was actually terrified of her. I said, you don't get out much, do you? But kept a keen eye on him anyway. He was such a sweet young man, a rarity in that scene, a jewel in the treasury box, worthy of being my son, although I was a bit worried about his little role-playing fetish. Ha ha ha. People mistake my innate witch's power for BDSM domination, and it always goes bad for them. I am not a member of that club either. My power is innate and ancient and has sustained me throughout my entire life, even at the 11th hour when I stared my own death right in its hairy, treacherous eyeballs one too many times. What do they say? Death becomes her. Fuck it, but it's fabulous, darlings. I also told Seagull about how Tisha and Karen had gone out of their way to embarrass and humiliate me at an expensive Turkish restaurant, I think it's called Ahmet's, in South Bank, and that I was still very pissed off about their level of dishonour. Seagull threw her head back and laughed hysterically when I told her that Tisha had screamed out in the busy restaurant that I am a witch. I said, I mean, I am one, but it is totally unacceptable to out me in that way, just like it is rude to scream out in public that someone is gay. Seagull laughed and said, you forgive them. After all, it only means they recognise your power. I stared at her for a few moments. This is the third time in recent weeks that friends have told me to embrace my power as a witch and ergo as a woman. I am, of course, a deeply powerful woman, even in my poverty and despair. But these are all signs that I must no longer hide my light and must use my innate power for the most beneficial outcome for my own spirit and for those around me. Intriguing. I don't know how to go about it except just being true to my own self. So in that you could see Seagull saying you forgive them after all only means to recognise your power, that she was clearly lucid that day and not speaking to discarnate beings or schizophrenic voices in her head. I actually came to the conclusion not long before they arseholed her out of that space with their vicious lies and slanders, that she's actually highly psychic and is indeed communicating. The voices, I don't believe, were just schizophrenic voices. They weren't delusions. She was actually communicating with sometimes several entities at the same time. I would observe her talking as if there were people lined up in front of her and sometimes getting a bit het up, like she was having an argument with them. And she wasn't that fucking crazy yes, she is a schizophrenic, but she wasn't actually that crazy. That's the proof right there, then and there, telling me to forgive them. It only means they recognise my power. And she was highly intelligent too. I had a few conversations in the months leading up to them getting rid of her out of that space, and I realised she was actually very, very bright, and she's an artist. She showed me her paintings and even suggested we go to the markets together. And I'm actually sorry I didn't swap numbers with her and get her address, and could have actually gone to the markets with her. She could have brought her paintings and I could have brought my jewellery, and it might have been a bit of fun, you know. But I was very cautious, of course, because there were times when she could be mentally quite unstable and, aggressive and kind of acting out. And I have a history of being under chronic fucking attack by another former Israeli friend I made when I came to this country, and it was so beyond heinous what that woman and her family put me through that I'm cautious. I'm cautious and trusting other Israeli mental health patients, I guess, you know. I've run that rat 3 strangulations and numerous sexual assaults, and you know, I can't trust in most people really now. So but my friend Sigal recognised my power, and I recognised her power, and she did not deserve to be treated the way she was treated by the Treasury Casino, and nor did I. All we had ever done was dance in that space, in my case for 12 years, in her case pretty sure it was about 20. So the treachery and the othering and, in fact, anti-Semitism, because we were both Jewish women, was actually appalling to do that to us. So, you know, it's been suggested to me recently that I go back there. That person said I'm not banned and that I should just go back and walk in like a queen. But I don't really want to, you know. How many times can people, you know, egregores of viciousness shit down my neck and get away with it? Irish Murphys and now the Treasury Casino last year. I'm done. But anyway, it was sweet of him wanting me to come back, and the reason is, you know, he enjoys my dancing for his band, and it's probably not quite the same without me, am I right? That sounds narcissistic and egoic, but trust me, I bet you when they play there and they look to that little spot where I had been for 12 years, almost every weekend, there'll be a kind of an emptiness, something feels missing. And but I'm okay with that. You know, treat me with respect and decency. I get treated so wonderfully at the Brooklyn Standard. I really do, by the staff there, and it's like a breath of fresh air in comparison to that other space at the casino where I was sneered at and bullied and vilified and undermined and cock-blocked even. Not that I care about that. I'd already shut down my sexuality for years anyway, but just the viciousness of not actually wanting me to even have a lover or love partnership, just the savagery of it all. Why would I go back to that? You know, it's just heinous. Anyway, here I post 28th of May 2021. Practicing making things out of my sterling silver projects. I'm hoping that I feel better by the 9th of June, which is not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, I think. Because I feel like hell. I don't think I'll be able to make it, the markets. And I've actually paid for the stall in advance, pardon me, because I wanted to show my intentions are to actually turn up this time. But by the gods, I feel too ill. And at the end of the day, you know, is it worth the struggle to go there when I feel so ill? I just hope I feel better by then, but I actually feel worse than ever the last few days. And I don't know what that's about, why I've taken such a steep decline. correlation, not causation. It's the tens machine, am I right? But that may just be a coincidence. Anyway, hello, my little baby girl. You're my little baby girl. We should be out in the garden, shouldn't we, since it's a nice day now? We'll go out when I finish this, bubby. We'll go out when I finish this, bubby bird. Yes, you was a good girl. This is my life, people. Me and my bird. 28th of May 2020, 2:44 a.m. I have been lying in bed since 11ish, dozing and belching with reflux, overheated with my extra blankets and wrestling them like a prize fighter on acid to kick them off. Then instead, I feel cold. I was not sleeping but in some sort of insomniac daze when some weird sounds emanating from outside upset the dog. He sat bolt upright and listened, so I listened too. It sounded like a low whistle, kinda creepy in the middle of the night. We listened for a while, but the whistle became a bit more frenzied, so it must be a bird of some kind. I think it was a curlew actually. Now I'm fully awake, so I turned my iPhone back on to make this weird nocturnal observation. Not sleeping even though I am physically and mentally exhausted is driving me insane. 8 days of moving stuff around my house has me all activated and hypervigilant. Bloody tree loppers are back. Great, more noise. I would be waiting to exhale, but no time to breathe. I just keep shuffling and moving and creating. To what end? Only the burnt out ends of smoky days and some mad, warbling, whistling, unsleepy bird call. Ah, there it goes again. Could be a curlew. The Tanya and the curlew fighting back the night. "3:30 a.m. Fucking metamorphosis. Dr. Eastwell warned me this would happen to me one day after sleeping 16 to 20 hours a day for years, decades even. He said I would eventually be lucky to get 3 to 4 hours. It's such a waste of time to lie in bed resting my cockles. The cock supreme never manifested or is off cuckolding some other woman's desires, the lousy motherfucker. Praying to shut down as even a turbo engine needs to throttle down to rest eventually. But my body and mind are not going to give in. What is this all about? I love sleep. It's as natural to me as breathing, which I also don't do very naturally. Oh well, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I like the idea of metamorphosing into a successful, fully loved up creature of the night. Snigger. It's okay in theory, but my mind won't allow me to submit for good reason. Protecting the vessel that houses the ancient spirit of the Tanya. This body wants more from life, but the spirit says, "Nah, fool, that was how the trouble started." The long, slow, grinding, turbulent troubles when Tanya owned her own libido and bought into the fairy tale fantasies of her age. The past month has seen me get busy on rebuilding my sacred space, internally and externally, building up my hopes and dreams, shoring them up with new filigreed structures of various degrees of madness. Does anyone need to Tetris a house where no one ever visits or stays? The only one who lives here and needs satisfactory, optimal space saving is little old moi. I guess I can't sleep as I'm overly exhausted. Maybe if I had a person to cuddle up with and drink hot chocolate with, I would be in dormouse-driven somnolence now. I think it would take a bit more than cuddles and hot chocolate to wear me out, people. Just saying. But I don't like ceding my freedom, and no one could tolerate my constant thinking, processing, and metamorphosing. I am like a giant, untouchable bug in the room. Franz Kafka was onto something. As society breaks down, we all become primal, wriggling, fretting things, unlovable and unworthy. But we won't be crushed. Cochineal is such a lovely colour, but I prefer my bits intact. Thank you very much. Red, 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 blood rushing through stolid hobbits' veins, singing tunes of the sea. I long for the sea. Byron, specifically. I found a letter my asshole mother wrote to Sophie Jakovac, begging, I think it was originally pronounced Yakovich, but anyway, begging a reading and whining that Tanya was happy to be home in Island Bay, as I was back with the sea, but we had been burgled and she wanted to get out of there. My mother, never satisfied, no matter how much wealth she acquired. Tanya, then aged 13, just wanted the sea and much needed peace. Peace is coming. When I close my eyes, I can hear it breathing or whistling like a curlew. It even scared Beauregard. Such is life. 4:20 a.m. I have made hot chocolate. I found some notes I wrote back in 2002 as the Gisela and Buck wars intensified. Funny, here goes. Plans for an Orme bemusement park. Oh, it's all very bemusing when you think about it now. Hindsight 2020. But anyway, number 1, papier-mâché Orme wearing a flowing white gown in his slouching sitting position. A computerized voice overhead intones, "I'm hot." My mother had a habit of pulling her dress way, way up, almost over her head to flash people. She wasn't wearing undies either. It was really fucking gross. She actually did it to my Mexican, very, very handsome friend Efren. I could have died the day she did that. I died of absolute shame and embarrassment. He even looked at me and went, "It's not your fault, Tanya. It's your mother. It's not your doing." But I was just so humiliated. She did it probably to humiliate me and to compete as a sexual rival for the attentions of a very handsome young man. And the irony was, we weren't lovers. We were just platonic friends. So she was competing for nothing. But anyway, you have to laugh. It really was that insane. Anyway, number 2. impaled wax head of all Tanya's enemies, 8 of them, for next Hanukkah lighting. Oh, I like that one. It's a little bit voodoo, but I find that a little bit stimulating. Not very Jewish, I admit, but the Holy One in all manifestations knows best. Number 3, paint Ormi black with a label called Schwarzer as a commentary on her poorly disguised racism. She was a dreadful fucking racist, but she kind of had a thin veneer where she'd kind of hide it, but it would come out from time to time, and it was always ugly. One of her ugliest traits, I think, apart from flashing her gash at my handsome gentleman friends. Although, thinking about it, that makes me look racist, which I am not. I was just barely surviving her and Buck's epic vicious slander at that time of my life. I still second guess myself. I must stop justifying my existence and my defragmenting, traumatized brain. 4. An effigy of Ormi lying in a coffin covered in tarot cards, eyes covered with coins, mouth sewn shut but sporting bright red lipstick. Maybe I will do these as like little art expressions one day, but I'm tired and I can't be bothered, and there's no sense getting revenge on a dead person. It's not like they know, or maybe she does. She's loitering around my energy still, like the dibbook she really is. Number 5, huge white circus tent. Oh, Charlie! With either Ormi's head above the doorway, or the head forms the entrance like in Luna Park, i.e. Gila as a clown, my father as a breasted man in a leopard suit in a cage, rattling the bars. Oh, I like that one. Terry as the missing link on a trapeze at the Ormi circus. They really were vile, all of them. Working, collaborating, colluding against me. That's how sick and evil they all were. Really sick and really evil, by the way. Number 6, arcade clowns with open mouths, each labelled Buck, David, Ormi, etc. Tiny shrunken Tanya heads get thrown into their ever-greedy, salacious mouths. I like that one too. Number 7, the haunted house, based on Mum's house, which verily was haunted. Tanya walks in and immediately falls asleep. A fact, not a fantasy. When we cleared out her house in December 2008, 6 years after writing this, the house was indeed haunted in the upstairs bedrooms. Very intense, creepy vibe. Number 8, 10-pin bowling with Ormi as the ball and the others as the pins. She knocks them all down, but they were willing, vicious little henchmen and women. Filthy, all of it. Number 9, Ferris wheel, Ormi's head on top. Each carriage has a digestion problem, e.g. tomatoes, mashed eggs. Ormi says, I have diarrhea. An unknown yellow liquid dribbles down on you and a voiceover says, What? I am an old woman. 10. This is how I kept myself amused through all that trauma, by the way. Because humour, people, dark humour, dark fucking gothic humour got me through. Number 10, teacup ride of milk cocktails. She used to say to my friend Jared when I had my business, would be in the shop, she'd say, Yarod, Yarod, make me a milk cocktail. And he said, what's that? Half milk, half water. And he'd just look at me in absolute horror. I went, she drinks that. And anyway, it was appalling. But anyway, poor Jared. He put up with a lot to be my friend, including constant exposure to my mother. Although, to be fair, I don't think my mother ever exposed her genitals to him. But maybe I'm in denial. I can't remember. But oh dear goddess, she put him through a lot, by the way. Actually, it was her that started referring to him as my brother, which was kind of weird. But then after a while, I thought, he is like a brother to me. He's so loving and supportive and loyal and staunch and stands with me, aligns with me as an ally in the face of my mother's constant psychopathic, fucking narcissistic viciousness. He was my lifeline friend. He literally stood by me in the darkest, most evil times of my life, and that he is a true brother. Not many men would have stayed friends with me with that level of insanity that I was surrounded by at any given time, by the way. Number 11. Floating dolls in a sarong in a pool. You fish them up to see a prize underneath. Example, shaved pussy. Okay, that one was unfair as she was bald from gerontology and decades of friction. It happens. Rolls eyes. 12. I'm sorry. I have to laugh. I mean, it sounds so evil talking about your own mother like that, but she actually deserves this for what she put me through. She really does. Anyway, 2 wrongs don't make a right, as my father used to say, but that's how they justified getting away with their constant perpetuated evils against me. I'll show you 2 wrongs. 2 left hands, 2 right hands, splice you down the middle, and you'll still be evil cunts no matter which dimension you now reside in, by the way. 12. See how I talk to my family? I'm always truthful, though. Always truthful. My mother respected that, by the way, my truth speaking and holding to my own personhood. She had a kind of a gravel-rashed hangman's regard for that. 12. The duck gallery. Shaved pussies running in a line with a slave taming it, or dogs. 13. Sumo wrestling suits. Oh, this is hilarious. With blonde wigs, pretend to be Ormi and bounce off each other, reminiscent of the time Gila dyed her hair blonde and pretended to be someone named Amy. True story. Came to visit Jared in the shop and pretended to have a whole other identity. And Jared rang me up and said, Gila just came down pretending to be someone named Amy in a blonde wig. Does she think I'm stupid? He said, I met her quite a few times. I know who she is. I said, oh, they're just insane. You can't buy into it. You just have to laugh and ding, slough them off. But it was a bit hard because he was kind of a captive audience since he was still working in my former shop, you know. It was owned by someone else by that stage, but she knew that he was there and could pop in any time she fucking liked. Anyway, it was just bizarre. 14. Cluedo. Ormi in her bedroom, backlit and spotlit. Another true story and unpleasant memory. My mother used to lie naked like a Donai goddess on her bed in Wellington Point. She was on the first floor with the curtains wide open and all the lights blazing, so people and all the neighbours and anyone driving by, I mean, it wasn't that much of a busy street because it was just off the road that goes up to Wellington Point. But even so, any male walking by could have seen her for kilometres and kilometres. And I'd be like, Mum, what are you doing? Everyone can see you. I'm just an old woman. What do I know? It was bizarre. But I guess it was the beginnings of dementia. She just became completely disinhibited. But yes, I'd arrive with the kids in the car and there'd be my mother in all her nakedness and glory. And I'd be like, kids, don't look, it's not a pretty sight. And my girls will be like, no! I know, well, you've just seen your future, honey. And give it another 60 or so years. And then we just had to laugh about it. Anyway. 15. Acme. Run across a minefield of acne without getting squirted on by slime. Dodge John's acne. 16. Ormy Titsling. New bra for the naughties. 17. An Ormy-themed restaurant specialising in pork sausages and sauerkraut. Aber nein, you know I never liked sauerkraut much, says my mother from the spirit world. Shut up, Mum. These are my notes from 2002, and I am commemorating you. Fact is stranger than fiction, where you were concerned. Also, you should have eaten way more sauerkraut with your epic diarrhea. Actually, I should eat it too. Probiotics are life. 18. A Gila tamer. Ormy is the lioness. Emmanuel is the elephant. Oh, I love that one. They were all colluding. They were just animals. Absolute animals. No, they were demons. They were demons, Charlie. Now Mum is a bit dark-sided too, because you had to get into your own darkness to survive those bastards. But anyway, the gods might be crazy, but they protected me as best as they could, I suppose. 19. Well, my angel did anyway. 19. Jared's celebration of honesty. An orange room with flying rubber chickens. Chicken expression, painting or sculpting of chickens. I did paint chickens as a frieze all along the top of the walls of my shop before I left. And when it was beautiful, I did the most beautiful work. And then and the walls were pretty much this colour, by the way. And then when I left, my motherfucker, boring, beige, soulless, empty, fuck knuckle of a husband, painted it all some horrible beigey, creamy colour. And I looked at it and I thought, it's another reason why I should never have married that misfit. He had no sense of colour or artistry at all, and no respect for my art, my work. So fuck them all. And I'm so happy that most of them are dead, and the ones that are still alive are no longer, well, I wouldn't let them near me with a 10-foot barge pole anyway. But they no longer impact on my life anymore after 25 years of therapy. But oh, dear goddess, oh, that was funny. I almost have to wipe a tear from my eye. It was so funny. Anyway, well, it's a big massive truck pulled up. Oh, someone's either moving house or getting furniture delivered, or don't know what's going on there. Well, now you can see how I survived without killing anyone or myself back in the day, with quirky, absurdist, tragicomedic vignettes and streams of consciousness revenge scenarios. But I never acted on any of them, not even with the bogus DVO that Buck the Schmuck inculcated. Remind me to piss on his grave someday. Meanwhile, time to attempt sleep. I feel quite invigorated after typing out these notes, laughing my ass off. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. 11:21 a.m. I just woke up, just under 6 hours sleep at long last. I had a repetitive trauma dream about trying to move out of an abandoned warehouse with a bunch of teenagers, all hungry, all freaking out. Everything in the commercial freezers had defrosted, so was not safe to eat. I had to call out to workmen in a building next door for an extension ladder to try to get down from the second floor. The building crumbling, and you guessed it, full to the brim of my mother's china. I had laughter actually makes me cough like it's bad. I had a good laugh, but it upsets my lungs. I had to make an executive decision to get myself and the kids out to safety. Crystal was wanting to keep the most insane things. The dream ended without us getting out to safety, smothered in our own possessions. Awful. I was strong and determined though. So I think I will have the dream again. But, what you biting your foot like that for, you mad bird? But with a happy ending, where we walk free of all the crap and get to some sort of refugee camp. There was little help apart from the ladder. People were either apathetic or helpless or engrossed in their own worries. The building was literally collapsing in parts, and I was in panic mode. Even the ladder was too short to do much. Jacob's ladder theme, with angels and demons scrambling across the divide between life and death, heaven and hell, a constant theme in my own life. Ah well, I am safe for now. Another day in paradise. Stuff to do, Charlie. Be well and victorious. I need to go and buy some food shortly. I really do need to buy some fucking food. I just feel so freaking exhausted. I don't want to do anything or go anywhere. It's getting to be a worry, actually. 28th of May, 2019, 3:25 a.m. Woken up by two mad cats as Socks has shit on the bed again. I threw them both outside. Sophie has been rattling the back screen door as she wanted out. No rest for the wicked, Charlie. She's so beautiful. Do you know how beautiful you are, Charlie? You is a lovely birdie. I have scraped the cat shit off the waterproof mattress cover, but too tired to strip it off and put it in the laundry to soak. I should have known they would act out last night, as Sophie was very fractious before I went to bed. No idea why they are being so naughty. I am exhausted, but okay. Nocturnal emergency half dealt with. The rest can wait until morning. Kellyanne wrote, big storm coming, some kind or other, and I laughed. So she wrote, shitstorm, thunderstorm, hailstorm, windstorm. So I laughed again. No, just pussy storms in their senile brains and tuchuses. And Sally had written, I'm sorry. And I wrote back, it's okay, Sally. It's life with mad cats. It's rather cold this evening. I'm sitting on the couch under a throw as I'm reluctant to bring out the heater just yet. But still, it's a bit chilly. I guess winter is finally here. I have been enjoying the cooler weather for the past few days. 28th of May, 2018. What? Today I had to face my fears and take my car back to the mechanic, as the rear brakes I had replaced 18 days ago were making really loud noises and shuddering whenever I braked. The mechanic was lovely and took the car in right away and found out that the drums had not been machined properly, so has sent them back to the machinist. Can you believe it? Constant fucking negligence. So I will get the car back this arvo, and hopefully I will have smooth, calm driving for a long while. I felt really scared something more major had gone wrong, as I don't have money to fix it, but it will hopefully be under warranty, as they only just repaired it. Fuck, I constantly feel like I'm skating on glassy thin ice and about to crash and drown at any moment. So I'm relieved the car is going to be all right, as I need to do more day trips as often as I can afford to, as I fear my mind is slowly deteriorating and I want to live fully and vibrantly and abundantly until I die. I can do this life. I have always overcome my limitations, which are infinite, yet infinitesimal in the grand scheme of things. What? Me worry? I had a meditation on the short walk home. Be more conscious of my words, manifest bliss and courage and beauty, and let the ugliness of fear, anxiety, bathos, feelings of worthlessness and failure subside. It's all illusion, man. Good stuff flows where energy blows. I have spiraled up and down from bleak devastation to peak delusions of love and joy 1,000,000 times. So just for today, what is one more circadian rhythm in the blustered, confounded, but mystical and magical and so beautiful tree of life? My mechanic told me that the tyre company, I have rung them to lay a complaint, had left nuts on the front and rear wheel loose, so that caused the damage to the rear brakes that he had worked on that same day. He replaced it under warranty, but I'm furious at the tyre place, as by leaving the wheels loose like that could have killed me and my friends and family in my car. What the actual fuck? So I will never go back to Bob Jane T-Mart ever again. They actually gave me attitude too when I laid a complaint. They're that fucking perverted and evil, putting people's lives at risk with their negligence. Here's a photo, a happy thought for the day, of our little Harvey, my friend's dog. Harvey, who loved me. He loved me so much. And he was gorgeous. And he too is in Valhalla now. "5'3" and shrinking. I just found out that I'd lost a centimetre, so I was actually less than 5'3". Hate to think how tall I am now. It's a bit frightening, but shrinking happens as you age, especially women. 28th of May 2017. Another fantastic morning. I have greeted the sun, dragged Charlie's cage outside so he can live in fresh air and splendour. Grateful to be alive. This is when we thought you were a boy, Charlie. Doom and gloomers, forsooth, soothsayers, psychobabble, crap merchant. Some of what she predicted has occurred, and some of it is just devolving crap. This world will never end. I don't believe that. Wars, pestilence, humans happen like diarrhea, but the planet, and along with it, human potential to create a safe home for all of life is possible if we work together and don't let evil and negativity and fear-mongering persist. I like the idea that aliens will assist us to live in harmony under the sea, on land, but ends of worlds, never. My world will only end when all love, all hope, all dreaming dies inside me. It has come close a few times, but miracles and shit happens. So does magic. Life is an ever-evolving Fibonacci spiral, a quantum fractal hologram, and self-perpetuating. Don't give up on yourself, on others, or on the multiverses. Yes, Charlie. That was in response to an article, "Woman who predicted the fall of the Twin Towers has some shattering news for 2017. So I don't subscribe to doom and gloomers. They're just psychic vampirizing loose feeders and a waste of your time and energy, people. But then along came COVID, and by the gods, can't get much doom and gloomy than that. Well, you can get much more, but hopefully they're satisfied with what they've unleashed on the world population and leave us the fuck alone now. 28th of May 2016. I am worth more than a crumpled $20 bill. How much more is subject to my own opinion of myself. Arg. The dog park is one giant dust bowl, with the wind whipping it up. It's akin to being in a Sahara dust storm. Okay, slight hyperbole, but even Beauregard is unimpressed. No dogs to play with either, so we will snuffle around the place, visit all the doggy calling cards, then head home. Whee! 2 Labradors, a Rottweiler, another mutt of indeterminate breed, and a small fluffy dog. Beauregard is both happy and terrified, laughing my ass off. My beautiful doggy. 28th of May 2015, 7:57 a.m. I got woken by Herman crowing, so I let him out and adjusted his sock collar. I have a no-crow collar on order. Didn't work. think he died because of it, to be honest. Horrible thought, but anyway. Last night I sorted the linen cupboard and managed to find room for more of Crystal's stuff. I watched American Horror Story. Crystal rang me from Paris. She is loving it there. She thanked me for teaching her basic French. The French thought she spoke well. Ha! After all those years studying French at school and 1 year at university, it finally got some use, vicariously, through my daughter. Funny old world. 4:20 p.m, sitting on a picnic rug, drinking tea and chilling with the chickens. I slept all day, so much work last night packing and resorting some of Crystal's stuff and my own. I still have so much stuff under the house. Shit, man. Oh well, I've got the front lounge in order again. The light is already fading, but it is so peaceful out here. Apart from Tabitha and Elvira's obsession with my china mug of tea, Herman, the little cock supreme, is exploring the garden. Helga and Heidi won't leave the coop, still a bit frightened in their new abode. I will leave them to adjust in their own time. Silkies are very moody and sensitive. Frida is out and about, very happy to have her own flock the same size. Best thing I did for her. Tabs and Elvira just keep being the big girls of Diamond Street, not giving a shit, happily doing their thing. They did attempt to beat up on Herman, but he stood his ground. Nice to have a rooster about the garden, lol. 28th of May, 2014. I slept all day, then around 10 p.m. I went to the pub to hear Woody playing solo. Only he wasn't playing solo. He was playing with this really amazing Asian guitarist called Murphy, laughing my ass off. They both rocked the Irish Murphys, and I danced along happily. The entire pub was raining men, hallelujah, and there were very few women, but I caught up with Angel and Heidi. Towards the end of the night, a couple of the men came over and actually, faints, asked me nicely to dance with them. So I did. Only one was a giant. Look at this bird. Look at it. So cute. I know, you're so cute. No bullshit, an extraordinarily tall man. He made me feel even more like a hobbit than usual. He wanted to dance old school, but I felt very small next to him. So I told him I'm just a rock chick and I don't dance like that, laughing out loud. He whined, "Oh, I'll teach you to dance." And I said, "No, 'cause I lead." So he hung around and freestyled with me for a while before slinking off back to his friends. His friend actually wanted to introduce me and said, "Big boy is scared of you." Isn't that funny? Little old me, who's less than 5'3" now, scares giant men. Oh, well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, babies. Just saying. I said, "Well, if Big Boy is scared of me, then that is probably a good thing. So quit hassling him to come over to me and introduce him and leave the poor bugger alone." So his useless friend says, "Oh, we are just 3 men who don't give a fuck." So I said, "Well, there you go. I am very passionate and I give a fuck about everything." so you better stay away from me." So then he looked surprised, and his giant scaredy cat came over and asked to dance with me off his own bat. Drunk men are so weird. I had a nice time though. Now I am home, feeling very centered and grounded. I really needed that rest today. I almost feel human. I forgot to mention, on the walk home from the pub to my car, I came across the Joker card on the ground from a playing deck. I was rather bemused, as I still have the star card in my purse that I found almost 20 years ago. 29 years ago now. Funny how the universe sends me little signs and portents. I picked it up and brought it home. It's still in my car. I just Googled its meaning. Joker. The Joker, fool or jester, is a mysterious figure. He is found in the tarot, where his number is 0 and symbolises all the ending and beginnings that make up the intricate journey of life. He is truly a wild card, and it is up to you whether you use him in your readings. If you do use him, only one joker is necessary. Place it in the deck before shuffling and keep the other to the side. The joker is essentially an unknown quantity. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, caught in the middle with you. Am I right? I'm right. The fool enjoyed a special place in medieval courts, his humorous persona frequently masking a worldly wise individual. The saying, "Many a true word is spoken in jest," encapsulates his essence perfectly. I just love how she just curls up in my hand and just, "Oh, Charlie, you're just so perfect. Even though you've pulled out half of your feathers, you're just such a gift from the gods. You're just such perfection. You're just my beautiful baby." She says, "Oh, Mama, I'm the fool of the birdie world." I know, Charlie, I know you are. Worldly wise beyond worlds. Yes, I know. Interpretation. When it appears in a spread, this enigmatic card heralds unexpected events and sudden inspirations. He brings eccentricity and freedom to a reading. Yes, Charlie, he does indeed. You bring eccentricity and freedom to Mama, don't you? You're very eccentric. Yes, putting out all your feathers and being a little bit cray-cray. You is a beautiful birdie. You is a beautiful birdie. I love you. I love you very, very much. I do love you. Oh, sorry. Distracted by my bird. Well, who wouldn't be distracted by my bird? Look. Just look. I know, Charlie. He brings eccentricity and freedom to a reading and may foretell breathtaking coincidences which have the power to upturn an ordinary life. That was very appropriate given I'd found that card on the street going to my car. He is neither fortunate nor unfortunate, Charlie, for his nature refuses to be defined. Homeostasis, am I right, Charlie? Homeostasis. But we need to push off that groove. Mama wants her true loving man with her now. She's greedy and selfish and spoiled and entitled. Not really. She just wants something lovely in her life like every other mortal in this planet wants. But true love is for the birdies. Yes. He represents, above all, the transformational spirit of anarchy and the impersonal forces of destiny. We are foolish to believe we can totally control our own or other people's lives, he says. This is true. Nothing is really ever under our control, even if we think it is. Ow! Have you decided to be mean now? So it looks like I am in for an interesting time. As usual, my life is always interesting, Charlie. What year was that? I've got to scroll back, I've forgotten. Oh, my headache's still kind of grinding away too. Might have another drink of water. 2014, and I was kind of getting over that dead shit, useless, awful fucking thing. I won't even name it, you know who I'm talking about. And in the void left by that dead shit, useless fucking thing, I invite real, authentic, passionate, romantic, loyal, devoted loves, Charlie. Just one. I say loves in plural, but I mean just one. Just the one. Only one need take top position in my romantic and or sexual life. Only takes one, Charlie. One good man, Charlie. One good man. She's like, Mama T, you don't need anybody. You've got me. That's true, Charlie. I've got you. I've got the gods. I've got wonderful friends. Psyching her out a little bit. It's not easy to psych out a bird though. 28th of May 2013. Interesting that this person who is in this photo came up after I did my little rant earlier in this video. But yes. The things that women will do to fight over some fucking asshole cock supreme that wasn't even faithful to her either, by the way. Stupid cow. She's still friends with his widow too. It's all very, very perverted in my worldview. No loyalty to their own values or their own being, you know. Sell themselves out for any fucking penis. I'm glad I didn't become like them. I'm really that glad. Anyway. 28th of May 2011. I slept all day but am in a truly serene mood. Ah, smell the serenity. I feel really peaceful. I spent the evening making poffertshire mix and a lemon and yogurt cake because I wanted chocolate. The pewter is coming back on Monday thanks to Lynn and Peter. Woohoo! 28th of May 2010. I am deeply satisfied to have completed the photocopying roll on Tuesday so I can afford to post the lot, get it out of my life and keep my lawyer bemused, amused and busy for a while longer. I don't think he even read it, any of it. Just aligned with the abusers as usual, as they always do, for which I had to pay over $100,000. It's just horseshit. It's just horseshit, all of it. The exciting part will be waiting to see what the Shearers do now that they can't access Mum's money or get the keys to her house because of the caveat my clever lawyer took out. Bliss. Wasn't exactly clever, it was just the only righteous thing to do. Anyway, it didn't help me in the end, did it? Didn't help me in any way, form or manner. Sometimes when I think about how I've been screwed over by other mortals, including my child sexual abuse as a child and my rotten family of origin, I still to this day get fucking suicidal. It's very, very hard sometimes to not get lost in the abyss. But anyway, I'm alive with a crazy bird doing weird gymnastics on my hand, twittering away. Look, this video is worth it for that alone. It's very unusual for her to play with me like that. Very rarely does she do this. What are you doing, Charlie? Are you my happy place? Are you my happy face and my happy place, reminding me of what's important, Charlie? Yes, you are. 28th of May 2009. Happy Shavuot, everyone. I had a car accident today. The car's okay, but I have whiplash. Wow. I don't even remember that. Would have been in my little Mazda 121 Shades hatchback too. Odd. Anyway, here's a birdie. Here's a birdie doing gymnastics. Say goodbye to the people. We've finished our video, Charlie. We can go in the garden now. Would you like to go in the garden? Just as I said that, it all goes grey and morose. But we'll still have a quick play in the garden. Fresh air and grounding is good for Mama too, Charlie. Anyway, on that note, thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. It's been bizarre. It's been weird. It's been cathartic in a way. I feel a little bit better than I felt when I started this video, which I felt like fucking death warmed up. So there is that. And even my headache has slowly dissipated. Still a bit of tightness there, but I'll have another drink of something, and no more tea today because I've had 3 cups this morning, which is not good. But I'll have another drink of something nice. Think of what I want to drink. It'll have to be a herbal tea because too much tannin and caffeine is killing me too. And I'm going to ponder my existence, think grand thoughts, and play with my bird and manifest my true loving partner in the eternal now. And whatever. By the way, people, when I talk like that, I've been manifesting a true loving partner since my divorce in separation in 1995. And there were a few that came and went that were life-threatening and awful, but I never gave up hope. I kept manifesting. So 29 years later, you can understand why I'm a little bit disappointed that it hasn't quite landed yet. But it was always prophesied that I wouldn't have my truly loving partner till I'm 60, and if I wanted to be really fucking weird, I could do a little countdown each day. How many days until I turn 60? But you can't take these prophecies literally, and often they are wrong. So wrong. And so I can't even put much stock in it. I just have to have a little bit of a laugh. But I was going through my memories on Facebook, and it was a bit astonishing because the the love energy did start to kind of blossom about 2 years ago, and I was still in such trauma mode and grief mode. I hadn't noticed that there were little flickerings of men approaching me at the casino being sweet. I'd kind of just shuck them off as I do, because I guess unwillingness to open up my heart to anyone. And it's only really last year when a certain person said, "I love you." He meant platonically, he's not available. He meant platonic love. But it's only when he kind of stirred up my meridians by saying that, and I replied, "I love you too," that I suddenly kind of blossomed like a 1,000-petaled lotus and just started being a little bit more willing and open and congenial and welcoming to the idea that real love might actually, manifest in my life at long last. So here we are, kind of, not quite a year later, and I'm astonished. I'm seeing and witnessing, the love being shown to me is quite sweet and authentic, but, people who are married can't go there. And it doesn't mean they would want to go there with me anyway. It's just there's been a lot of mischief and a lot of good humour and a lot of delight, but I'm conscious that it very likely won't go anywhere. Because, hello, I'm the Tanya. I'm the queen of my own destiny, and I know what I want from life, and I don't want any, triangulated or polyamorous or fucking cruel, fucking sadistic love affairs. It's just not cricket, and I've been through that before, people. Although, to be fair, David Davidson wasn't married, but he was fucking 50% of the Jewish female population in Brisbane, so there was that. I was in competition with a lot of women, and in the end I just maintained my dignity and walked away. Only thing a woman can do at the end is stay true to herself. But it was that tawdry and fucking crass, by the way. It really was. And I used to call him out on it too. It really was that filthy. But anyway, at the end of the day, what could he do but haunt me when he died? Because his life review. Oh, it would have been interesting to see it, actually. It would have been quite the life review. He thought he was some kind of male god, and all he was a sleazy, fucking desperate, putrid fucking bastard. But anyway, Mama T fell in love with that monster and had to fall out of love with it too. Yes, she did. This is why love for me is kind of a double-edged sword. I'm always terrified of it being something that will lead to my death again, as it almost did numerous times. So, we live in a different world now, though, where everyone has been traumatised, where everyone has suffered immense atrocities done against our body autonomy. And I actually think that people are genuinely hoping against hope for real loves, authentic loves like mine. Love like mine that used to be shucked and despoiled and sullied because they felt entitled or superior. But death or disease or societal breakdown is a great equalizer, people. And now I am valued for my power, when before I was utterly destroyed over and over again. So there is great power in holding true to thine own self and remaining circumspect and riding through life, hoping against hope for the very, very best, Charlie. Gifted by the gods, Charlie. Gifted by the gods. I love you. I love you, little birdie. So on that note, I bid you adieu, wherever you are in the space-time continuum on planet Earth, or if you're watching this video from other dimensions or other planets, or wherever our radio waves or digital data gets scattered across the multiverses. Stay safe, stay true. If you're human, stay human. Keep your blood human. Protect your children, especially and your infants, by the gods. I fought hard to protect my daughters, but they wouldn't. Well, one was not in communication with me, and the other one wouldn't listen. Utterly fucking brainwashed she was. Anyway, now she's estranged and I've lost everything. And I still say, remain human, people. It's your human right. It's your human body and your human DNA. There is great beauty and magic and wonder that humans can still co-create with the gods. Never forget your power or who you truly are. The Holy One watches and waits as you all awaken from this atrocious dystopian nightmare. And as each soul awakens, I send you blessings and peace. Together may we ride through the storm, surrounded by people who love us truly and deeply and honouringly, and slough off the rest. Not in a, life-threatening way, but just distance yourself from people who are ignorant or evil or selfish or greedy, and people like that Labour MP that came to my gate the other day when I told him he wasn't welcome on my land because he endorsed that product. I made good money. It was all about the money. The most pernicious evil. But then I realised I wasn't talking to a human being anymore. I was talking to whoever's growing inside his brain. It's terrifying, people, utterly terrifying. And don't get me wrong, I have something infesting me too since I caught the COVID in October. I have spike proteins. It's probably what's making my bladder even worse, by the way, because it attaches to your weakest part of your body. It's completely evil and fucked up. But here I am, hoping against hope for true love and compassion and romance and passion and sweetness. I really am the psychedelic dreamer, but I'm awake. I'm well aware that I'm being incongruent and hoping for something that's not actually even feasible or possible. It's kind of my magic, though, hoping for things that are the impossible dream. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unfightable foe. I think it's unfightable foe. I'll have to put a link to that song because, as usual, Mama T forgot the words. But you feel me, don't you? Mama T, still dreaming the impossible dream for a beautiful world where we're all safe and treated with respect for our body autonomy and our hearts and our minds and our souls. I will never, ever give up on that dream. Bye for now. Love to you all.